Hi everyone, welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Thursday, February 29th, 2024, and this is episode 278. I'm Carol, also known as Knits and Pearls on Ravelry, and I live east of Vancouver in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada. It is Leap Day today. It is not often that I get to record on February 29th. In fact, I'm not even sure if I ever have. It's also Sadie Hawkins Day, and I don't know if that's just like an American or a North American holiday or if it's worldwide, but it's supposedly the only day a woman is permitted to propose marriage. Obviously, it's rather an old-fashioned holiday. I'm sure there are many women these days that bring up marriage to their partners. I'm not sure if it was on Sadie Hawkins Day. I have a feeling it was, that my cousin's wife proposed to him. But he said yes, and they've been married quite a few years now. I hope you are doing well, that you've had a good 2+ weeks since we last chatted. I've had a little bit of some ups and downs, thankfully mostly ups, but I'll chat about that more later on in the episode. And before I get into the knitting, just a little bit of administration. First off, just to let you know, there are a couple of make-alongs taking place in the Ravelry group. A year-long chatter thread called Smash the Stash, and then the first of 4 quarterly make-alongs that are going to take place this year, Sweater Weather. So if it sounds like something you might be interested in checking out, head on over to the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group and check out the first post in each of the pertinent threads, and that gives you all the information you need to know to participate. And then also just a reminder that sock season is still going on, with new episodes coming out every Sunday. I had mentioned last episode that I was going to continue it until the end of March, but it turns out there are going to be 6 more weeks of sock season. I feel like there's a place for some kind of joke there about, I don't know, a sock monkey seeing its shadow and going back in its little hole and having 6 more weeks of sock season. I don't know. Anyway, I am going to finish out sock season by featuring the designs of Hunter Hammerson, and I had so many socks that I needed to extend the series into April. So hopefully that's something you will continue to enjoy. I've been spending some time the last couple of weeks working on recording those episodes. I finished recording one this morning and I have 3 more to go, so should be able to manage that over the next few weeks. I like to get them done well in advance so they're not weighing on my mind. Problem is it can be hard to find days that are, bright enough to record. So anyway, let me worry about that. All right, finished projects. I actually have 2 this week, and one is a project that you have not seen before. It was not something I had planned to cast on, but without giving anything away, I needed to knit a birthday gift for my sister earlier than I had planned. And so I immediately cast on a pair of socks, because I always give her socks and chocolate for her birthday. This is a pattern called Fruit Stripe Gum Socks by Leah Oakley. And if you watched sock season during December, you would have seen this pattern knit up in some Regia yarn that had some Christmassy colors. And our winner from December's Yarn of the Month Club, Susan, chose this as one of her patterns that she won as a prize, and it got me thinking about knitting them again. And so when I cast these on, originally I was just going to do a plain vanilla sock, and then I thought, oh, why not knit that other pattern? So the pattern does call for a 1x1 rib, but I had already cast on and knit a 2x2 rib, and it works fine with that too. And then this leg pattern is just super fun. It's a one row pattern, and you just keep repeating it until you get to the heel. And then the pattern does have some ribbing that goes down part of the sock, but I just did plain stockinette on the feet on both pairs of socks that I've knit, and I've added a contrasting short row heel. So the yarn that I used for this one is also by Regia. It's the 4-ply, and this is one of the Arna and Carlos Lofoten colorways. The number is 3881, and the name of it is Noosfjord. And then for the heel, I used Fildar Preface in color 10, which is blanc, or white in English. So I'm going to bring this in closer so you can see this spiraling pattern that goes all the way down the leg, and it really plays with a self-striping or self-patterning yarn and makes it look like you have little diamonds running across your cuff. There's my German short row heel, my usual rounded toe. So I can't remember exactly what the pattern says. I cast on 64 stitches, and then I increased to 72 for the leg, and then decreased back to 64 before I did the heel and foot. And I used a 2mm needle. I know I did something a little bit differently than the pattern instructed, but you get the same basic result. And I'm calling these my Scotties socks because I watched a lot of curling while I was knitting on them. The Scotties was on, that's the Canadian Women's National Championship for curling. And so I spent a lot of my TV time working on these socks. So I have those memories knit into them. So yes, a very unexpected finished project, but a necessary one, and I'll talk more about that later on in the episode, about why I had to knit them so quickly. And then I am happy to say that yesterday I finished up my February Personal Sock Yarn Club socks. And here they are. I love these socks. So for those of you who may be new, first of all, welcome. At the beginning of the year, I put 12 yarns away in paper bags, wrote the names of the months on them, and every month I am opening them up and knitting socks. Just a way of breathing new life into my stash and prioritizing yarns that I really love and want to knit, and also take some of the decision making away from me. I often find that when I go to cast on a new pair of socks, I am paralyzed by choice, and it takes me forever to decide which yarn I'm going to use. So this way I just open up the bag, cast on the yarn, and the decision making has already taken place. So this is some very, very old stash from Pigeon Roof Studios. It's her 80-10-10 MCN Merino Cashmere Nylon blend, and the color is Bitten. And then I had some leftover Handmade in Cosba in the ebony colorway, and that is it's not 90-10-10, but I think it's something like 91-9-10, also a Merino Cashmere Nylon blend. Anyway, they went together really well, and so that's what I used for these socks. So not only stash yarn, but also some leftovers, so that's good. This is my usual 64 stitch top down vanilla sock. So I did 2x2 rib. Love how this yarn knit up. Again, I did a German short row heel and my usual rounded toe. I have not yet washed and blocked these, so they look a little bit bumpy, but I will wash and block them before I take photos for my Ravelry project page. This is a good time to mention, I usually don't think of it, but I do link the Ravelry project pages for all of the projects that I talk about. Also other links if necessary in the show notes. So if you're on YouTube, if you look below the video, you will see something that says more, and there's 3 little dots beside it. Click on that. It expands the header, and that's where the show notes are. There's also links to the blog where I put show notes and to the Ravelry group where I also do a brand new thread for every new episode and put show notes there too. So several different ways that you can watch and find the information that you need. So I am not sure if I worked on my Owen sweater at all since the last episode. Those Scotties socks especially took up quite a bit of my time. But once I finished them, I turned my attention back to my other sweater that I'm working on, which is, I call it Tea Break, but it's actually Coffee Break by José Pequin. And I'm just going to grab it from over here. I believe I have, yeah, here's my pattern page that gives you a look at the sweater, even though it's a not very good printing of it. You can see lines across it. It is a striped sweater, but there's extra stripes from the poor print job. I am using 2 colors of Barocco Lanus Light, which is a 100% Peruvian wool. This one is 78126 Cayenne, which is a beautiful heathered warm red. And then this is 7800 Snow Day. And I think I mentioned last episode that I was a little bit nervous about whether or not the sweater was going to fit properly. I had concerns over the length of the yoke, and also I just wanted to make sure there would be enough ease. And so what I ended up doing is putting the sweater onto waste yarn and washing it and blocking it. And then I tried it on, found out it was going to be fine, and then I ended up continuing along the body. So there's the yoke. It has the wider stripes. It's a top-down raglan sweater, and then you switch to narrow stripes going down the body. So I was partway down the body when I blocked it. Actually, I think I put a little stitch marker somewhere. Oops. Better be careful. I don't want to lose stitches off here. Hang on a second. Too late. I already have. I didn't put needle stoppers on there. They're sitting on the coffee table, right where, or not the coffee table, the end table, right where I was knitting, and I didn't end up putting them in. Anyway, where this stitch marker is, that's where I stopped knitting, blocked it, then I picked it back up, and I knit until I ran out of the reddish yarn. Then I broke the yarn, and I wound my other 2 balls, and I am going to work on the sleeves concurrently. So you can see I've done some of the sleeve there and more of it there. And then that way, once the sleeves are done, I can knit go back to knitting the body and I will know exactly how it's going to fit. Sometimes sometimes when you put your sleeves in, it can alter the fit of the body a little bit. It kind of cinches things up sometimes. So I thought I would do that to be safe. So I do like how it's coming along. Now it's very easy to try on because the body is on waste yarn, and then I have either needles or my spare needle cord on my sleeves, so I can slip this on whenever I want to check the length of the sleeves. As I mentioned, I have lost a few stitches off of this sleeve, but that'll be pretty easy to pick up. The yarn is quite sticky, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, the designer did say that she broke the yarn with these wider stripes, and I started doing that, and then I thought, okay, I can see breaking the white yarn because there's quite a gap between stripes, but I am carrying the red yarn down each sleeve, and I'm just breaking the white yarn. Unfortunately, I didn't really think about that when I went to do the sleeves. I wasn't thinking about the fact that I would be breaking the white yarn, so I ended up taking it and, I don't know, somewhere in here, hang on, I ended up breaking my white yarn into 2 balls, which it turned out wasn't really necessary, but that's fine. This yarn is feltable, so I can wet splice the ends together whenever I want to, if I need to go to the next ball, or chances are I won't even need to do that because I'll just be ready to use the second ball when the first one runs out. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that when I did it, but I do have my last 2 balls of red wound up, and I'm using 1 for each sleeve. So happy with how that's coming along. It's strange to feel like I only have at the moment 2 active works in progress, my 2 sweaters, but that's going to change. So I'm going to take a sip of tea, and then I'm going to tell you about what's up and coming. So I mentioned last episode that there is a new mystery cowl being put out by Lisa K. Ross of Paper Daisy Creations, and that knit along begins on March the 6th. So this is my getting ready guide that I printed out, and here's a look at the colors that she used for hers. And so what I did is I pulled out my fingering weight leftovers. Did I ever tell you what I did with my solid and semi-solid fingering weight leftovers? I divided them by color and put them into those kind of containers you get for Christmas ornaments. I had them all laid out on my ironing board. So I took a picture to show you, just so you can get the idea. So I laid those out, and then I went through and started picking out colors. She does give you some suggestions of what to choose in terms of, you know, color 1 should be this, color 2 should be this, and when I say this, that's not very specific. Color 5, she says, should be a light color that will be prominent on the cowl. And then she says C1 should be a dark color that coordinates with color 5. Color 2 should be a dark neutral. Color 4 should be a light neutral. And then color 3 is a mid-tone that works well with the other colors. So I can't remember exactly where all of these are going to be. This will be my dark neutral. It's some leftover Impulse of Delight in the Stellar colorways. The colors are based on the Stellar's J, I should say. And that's an 80-20 merino nylon. I don't think it'll pick it up here, but there is a blue cast to this yarn, but it's mostly black. And then I guess this is my light neutral. So light gray. This is from Midknit Cravings. It's also, it's an 8515 superwash merino nylon, and this is the Sidewalk colorway. And I'm not sure where the rest of these colors are going to fit in as far as numbers, but I've got these three. So here's a darker gray with blue and purpley specks in it. This is also from Midknit Cravings, and it's the Casual Friday colorway, and it's the same base as the Sidewalk. In fact, I bought these two colorways together along with a navy as part of a yarn set. This is some Hazel Knits. It's the Artisan Sock, which is a 90 superwash merino 10% nylon. It was a naughty skein, and it was a Rogue one-of-a-kind colorway. I think I knit a pair of socks out of this yarn. So it has the blue and the purple and the grayish tones in it. So I thought it went really well with that yarn. And then I wanted a pop of color. And so I had this yarn, which is also a hazelnuts yarn. This is the Piquant Light blend, which is a 90 superwash merino 10% nylon, and this is the Sapphire colorway. So I don't know if you can read that, it's pretty small. And so I thought this picked up the blue in both of these yarns. And then, as I mentioned, there is some blue in here, which you're not going to be able to see. And then this silver gray. So if I hold them all together, I think they'll blend well for a cowl. So looking forward to that. I really love Mystery Knit-alongs, and I really like her design work. So that's exciting. That's just, what did I say? It was starting March the 6th. So I guess just a week away. So that'll be fun. And I've put them in this bag. I freed up this bag by frogging a long-term project. I'd got this years ago from the Leading Men Fiber Arts website. I think they don't make their bags. Somebody else made them and sold them on the website. Anyway, I have not used this bag for a very long time. It's been tied up, so that's kind of fun too. And then, as if one make-along wasn't enough, there's another mystery make-along that's starting on the 21st of March, and it's going to run for 6 weeks. The cowl is a 4-week make-along. The shawl is a 6-week, and it's by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. And this year it's called the 24 Birds M-Cowl, and it's based on work by William Morris. And we need four colors of fingering weight yarn for this one. And so again, I went stash diving, and one thing she recommended was a single ply yarn. That's she's having Kristen from Wool and Vine Yarns dye up some yarn sets for it, and I believe they must be on a single ply. Anyway, I started looking through my single ply yarns and dug a bunch out. So here's where I'm going with this. First off, I had some leftovers from this sweater that I'm wearing. This is the Stripes Gone Crazy by Elfa Knits. And I knit this sweater back in 2014 from two colors of Madeline Tosh, Tosh Merino Light. The darker color is Thunderstorm and the lighter color is Rainwater. And maybe after I show all these yarns, I'll just stand up and give you a look at the sweater. So I had a full skein of Thunderstorm left, and I had used the Rainwater colorway in another sweater, one by Carol Feller, and so I have tons of this yarn left in several different dye lots. So I pulled out the closest ones, and I have enough of that for the color that I need, because she did give the yarn requirements for each of the 4 colors, and so those obviously go together really well. And then I also have a lot of this yarn from Sweet Fiber Yarn, and it's very similar to the Tosh Merino Light. This colorway is called Smoke. And then she talked about 3 sort of gradient yarns and then one that's sort of a pop of color. So originally I was thinking of these 3 as the gradients, but then I thought the black would work really well because it's so dark that if I had another color that was less contrasting, then I could use this black and blue. It's like, I don't know if you can tell, again, it's got blue in it, but not sure how well I think the light might be picking that up there. Anyway, I had a couple different yarns, again, single ply yarns that I'm thinking might work with it. So one is a skein of Madeline Tosh, Tosh Merino Light. This is the Odyssey colorway, and there's blue and purple and gray in there. And so I thought these 3 blended really well for kind of a gradient, and then next to it the black will pop. I also have a skein of yarn that I got as part of a box for Knit City a few years ago, and they're all winter themed colorways. So this is a skein from Jolene Yarns, and this is the Belle base, which is a 70% merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk single ply, and this is the Winter Wonders colorway. So again, I thought these 3 might work well as gradients, and then again this I don't know if I can hold them all at once. Let's see, maybe like that. Then I thought again the black would pop. So I'm not sure yet. Before the first clue is released, I may do a little bit of swatching and just see what I think. And that, or I might, once the shawl starts, I may have a better idea of how they look together depending on the pattern. So how exactly that one's going to come together remains to be seen, but I have some choices. I also have a black, I have a skein of Tosh Merino Light that has sparkle in it, and it's a black background with pink and green and something else in it. And I even thought about using that along with this and along with this, and then using some leftover pink Tosh Merino Light as the pop of color. So I've got lots of options, but those are the ideas that I am playing with. And it's gonna take me away from my sweater knitting somewhat, but I love Helen Stewart's shawl knit-alongs, and I love Lisa K. Ross's, and so like I'm just not going to pass up the opportunity to do those, even though I'd sort of planned to concentrate on sweaters in January, February, and March. But I'm the boss of my knitting. There are no hard and fast rules, and so I just really want my knitting to bring me joy, and I think it'll bring me joy to work on those projects. Finally, for up and coming, I finished my February socks. Tomorrow is March, so it's time to cast on my March personal sock yarn club yarn, and I have it stapled up here in my bag, so I thought it'd be fun to open it with you. I think I know what's in here, but then I thought I knew last time and I was wrong. So let's find out. You and I will both be surprised, possibly. All right. Yes, this is what I thought was in here. Okay, so this is from Turtle Pearl Yarns. It's the striped turtle toes in the All Sorts of Fun colorway, which is based on Licorice All Sorts. The colors in Licorice All Sorts. And I think I remember saying when I showed this yarn to you when I bought it, is it's fitting that the mini for the heels and toes is pink, because the pink and yellow coconut ones are my favorite. And so I am really gonna love working this yarn up. Haven't decided yet. Oh, I've just got it. So of course I haven't decided whether I'm gonna do some sort of easy stitch pattern or if I'm just gonna knit plain stockinette. That remains to be seen, but yay, can't wait to cast those on. I might cheat and start those tonight. And then this morning I got some yarn in the mail. I have not yet purchased any yarn this year, but I did last year sign up for the second edition of the Lepidoptera Club from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. And if you don't want to be spoiled, look away, but I suspect I'm one of the last, if not the last person to receive this. They were sent out quite a while ago, but it takes a while to get to me and go through customs and stuff because she's in the States. Anyway, I haven't opened it, and I thought that would be also fun to open with you. I don't know about you, but I always enjoy seeing podcasters open yarn and being surprised. So that's why I decided to do that. Hopefully you enjoy it too. Okay, that's the bill, and comes wrapped up in this awesome tissue paper. I always try and preserve it and I never manage, so I'm not even going to try it this time. Looks like something I'd like to reuse, but okay, are you ready? Yeah, let's look at the yarn first and then I'll tell you which butterfly it represents. She did say that all of the yarns this time around will be butterflies, not moths. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at that. I love it. I love it. Oh. Blue Morpho. Blue Morpho. So let's find out about the Blue Morpho. I think I mentioned when we were in on a jungle jeep tour in or near Rio de Janeiro, there were these big blue butterflies flying around. So how fitting. Oh, there you go. Blue Morphos are found in Central and South America, including the tropical savanna of Cerrado in eastern Brazil, as well as in Mexico and Venezuela. So chances are that's what I saw. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, with a wingspan of 4.7 inches, it's one of the largest butterflies in the world. Oh, well, that could not have been more fitting. That is amazing. Oh, that is so cool. I know last time I was saying I didn't get any souvenir yarn on my trip, so this could serve as my souvenir yarn. That was one of the most fun days that we had. Thank you, Lisa. What an awesome coincidence. I cannot wait to knit these, and I might have to cast these on right away too and just have them going. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do, is cast these on tonight. Oh, can't wait. That is so awesome. Sorry, I'm waxing poetic, but that I love when things like that work out. Oh yeah, before I talk about what's been going on in my life for the past couple weeks, I will just push this ironing board back a bit and give you a quick look at my sweater. So I'll be right back. I won't try and do it while everything is sitting here on the ironing board, because trouble is bound to happen. So I'll be right back. Okay, so here's my sweater. As you can see, it's a cardigan. And you can see the varying widths of the stripes, and I've got narrow stripes on this sleeve, wide on this, narrow stripes here, wide on here. But this is the fun part. Watch me as I turn around. So you can see the stripes on this side starting to do some funky things. And then look at the back. And then as you turn, you can see the stripes feeding into the front. Isn't that cool? You know, I do not wear this often enough, but now that I've got this white shirt, I can see myself wearing it more. I used to always wear it buttoned up and just sort of on its own, but I really like how it looks with the white shirt. And then I've just got these kind of light, let's see if I can show you, light and dark gray buttons. I think you can see them. Anyway, I'm gonna go warm up my tea, put things back where they belong, and then I'm gonna talk to you about what's been happening around here for the last couple of weeks. One disadvantage to only putting out regular episodes about every 2 weeks now is that I tend to forget what's happened since the last time I recorded. And then you add in sock season, and I'm planning and recording episodes that won't be seen until weeks from now, and half the time I don't even know what day it is. That's all that to say that here are a few things that happened since we last chatted, but chances are I'm forgetting something. In fact, I do know I forgot to mention last episode that our granddaughter turned 19. So she is officially an adult. She can drink and she can vote. And it just seems strange to think that we have an adult grandchild now. My husband also had a birthday just a couple of days ago, and we went out for dinner to celebrate. So that was fun. The weekend after my last episode, we went up to see my mom for a few days. So Cameron took the Friday off, and we stayed with her until Sunday, and just had a really nice, relaxing weekend. We played lots of different kinds of games. She wanted to sort of relearn Chicken Feet, which is a dominoes game, because she wants to teach it to some of the people at the assisted living facility. And so I found a really good set of rules online, and we tried it out, and had a lot of fun with that. It's been quite a while since I've played. And then we played some Yahtzee and some different card games. We went out to the cabin a couple of times, and unlike in January when there was hardly any snow, this time the ground was completely covered, and we saw some interesting animal tracks. We saw something canine. We're thinking probably a coyote. And then we also saw what we think might be moose tracks. I have never personally seen a moose there, but there has been a moose and a calf that have walked through our property one time that several people saw, and so it's entirely possible that that's what they are. It's always just fun to see the cabins in a different season. Unfortunately, it's just too cold to stay there at this time of year. But it definitely is cool to go and walk around, and then we just kind of check up on things. I'll be right back. My phone's ringing, as you can hear. I thought that might be Cameron saying he was on his way home from work because it's now early evening, but it wasn't. But chances are I will hear from him soon, so you may hear the phone again. So another thing we did at my mom's is watch the Scotties. She enjoys watching curling too, and that's when they began. So we ended up scheduling our other activities around the times of the games. Just all in all, a really great weekend with her. And then we still had another day off once we got home. Monday was Family Day here in British Columbia and most of the provinces. And we hadn't really planned anything, but we did end up having a spontaneous get-together with our two sons and their partners. So we ended up with family time on Family Day, even though it hadn't been our intention necessarily. And then our week took a little bit of a turn for the worse. We learned Tuesday evening that our daughter had gone into the hospital with a medical emergency. And while I won't go into details for the sake of privacy, just was a concerning time for us, of course. But I'm happy to report that she was released on Saturday, just in time to go and watch her 9-year-old daughter's first ever roller derby. So our granddaughter started derby last year, and since she's now in level 2, she's allowed to participate in actual events rather than just practice. So we had a whole crowd there cheering her on. A couple of my sisters came, one of our sons and his girlfriend, her brother and sister, and her parents, and us, of course. And so she had a good cheering section, and it was so, well, first of all, it was very cool to attend a roller derby. I didn't know much about it and what to expect, but our son-in-law kind of guided us through what it's all about. And it was just cool to see her participating. She is the youngest and smallest on her team, but she looked, well, okay, I'm not allowed to say she looked cute because she doesn't like that word, but she looked cute in her little plaid skirt, and her derby name is Rubber Ducky, so she has Rubber Ducky stickers all over her helmet. Anyway, it was very enjoyable. Man, those kids, they skate a lot. It was a 2-hour event, and they do sit down in between, I don't know what they're called. They take turns skating, but still lots and lots of skating that they do. It's great exercise for them. And let me just look at my notes here. I think I've covered everything, and so that just leads me to something good, as though those things weren't good. My something good for this episode is that it would have been the day before Valentine's Day, because my husband and I went out for dinner that night because he was going to be away Valentine's Day. Actually, I highly recommend that. It wasn't too bad, too busy in the restaurant. So if you have a choice, consider going out a day early. In any case, my sisters and I had been discussing when we were going to get together for our spring birthdays. And when I got home, my sister that lives in Toronto had joined in the discussion, and she said, guess who else is going to be there for spring birthdays? So she and her husband are flying out for that and staying a few days. And she's one of the spring birthdays. My husband and I are the others. And so it'll just be really nice to have all the family together. And whenever we celebrate either the fall or spring birthdays without them, you always feel that absence. So this time there won't be anyone missing. So I'm so excited that she's coming out for a visit with her husband, and they are going to stay here. So I'll get extra visiting time with them. So that is my something good for this week. And on that happy note, I'm just looking again real quick to see if there's anything I forgot to talk about, but I don't think so. So I'll be back again in a couple of weeks with a regular episode. And in the meantime, check out Sock Season, which is which I make live every Sunday morning. It's usually morning, at least where I live. Might be afternoon where you are. In any case, thank you so much for watching. Have a good couple of weeks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.